Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon, and I am joined, as always, on this great Star Wars Saturday. What's going on with my hair? With my co-host, Alti, and our great friend, Mo is here. Alti, how are you doing?
Sauron!
Who's Sauron? We found him finally. We'll be talking about Sauron, Rings of Power, Gandalf, Boba Fett. Yeah.
This was on the floor.
Oh, there you go. That's a message from the Force. A gift freely given. If you've read Path of Deceit, you know all about that.
I have not read it. It's sitting somewhere over there, and it's my fault, not Amazon, because it got here quite fast.
Yay! Corporations. Mo, how you doing? And your cat back there.
I'm good. That's Ben Solo right there.
That's Ben Solo. Nice.
Of course. We found them, Ben Solo. I mean, we found Sauron, we found Gandalf, we found Ben Solo.
Did we find
Solo lives? He's right there.
Come on, dude. He's there.
We'll get to it.
Oh, that's like...
Well, let's see if I get to it.
Yes, Otis gotta leave a few minutes early, so I don't want to rush anyone, but we'll see how it goes. Let's go. All right, so I forgot about this last time. If you're watching us now, thanks for joining us. Make sure that you're subscribed to our channel. Leave us a comment down below if you're watching this later, and give us a thumbs up whenever you're watching this now, later, 2 weeks from now. It doesn't matter. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you. Make sure you leave us a rating and a review. It's always nice reading those. I got a new one last week, so thank you to everyone still listening to our audio podcast. And yeah, as always, if you can, Amidala Initiative for Equality Texas, the National Network of Abortion Funds, and the What Choice Fundraiser, and help for Puerto Rico if you can. All those links are down in the description of this video, and also in the description of the audio podcast when you listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, all those. It's there, so anything helps. All right, let's go ahead. Before, Mo, how are you doing? Any Star Wars adventure for you since it's been a while since we've had you here on our show?
It has, yeah. No Star Wars adventures. I don't think I have been on the podcast since I went to the Andor premiere. I think that's the only Star Wars adventure that.
Sorry, just throwing that in our face.
that I went to. Or
I went to the premiere.
Yeah, how was that? How was that experience?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was me and my other friend that got invited last minute, and apparently everyone else had been on a mailing list for a few weeks, so we were so out of place, but we did not care. We made everything of the experience.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so happy that you got to go, and a lot of people that got to go, but we know how big a fan you are of Rogue One and all that, so I'm so happy for you.
Any famous people sightings?
Yeah, I ran into Erin Kellyman. We talked to her for a bit. Cool. We were saying that we need this Nest back, and she was honestly shocked that people knew her for these roles.
What?
I saw Daniel Logan.
What?
I met Daniel Logan, and he looked at me and he was like, "Have we met before?" And I was like, I would know.
See, that's why you found that Boba Fett down there, Oti.
Exactly, and then I met Diego after for a bit.
Oh man,
such a sweet.
Again, congratulations! I'm sure it was a lot of fun. It seemed fun on all your posts that you put on Twitter and everywhere out there. Oti, we mentioned earlier, 2 minutes ago, that you have to leave early. Yes. Why is that? Why are you leaving early?
Okay, so check this out. So I was one day scrolling Twitter, and the Sala Sinfónica, the Puerto Rico symphony, I guess.
Yeah.
They posted this Puerto Rico is gonna join John Williams in celebrating his 90th birthday. And as you may or may not know, he's on tour celebrating his 90th birthday. Mm-hmm. So, but that was the message. So nobody knew what was going on. I was like, is John Williams coming to Puerto Rico? Is this happening? So the minute the tickets went online, I got in, and the event had no description. It was just John Williams' 90th birthday anniversary or concert. And I was like, okay. So when I got to the tickets, they were $25. Okay, I was like, okay, it's definitely not, because contents here are like cheaper than they are on the US, but not $25 versus like what it would probably cost. So I was like, you know what? I'm already hyped up. Let me buy the tickets. The Puerto Rico Symphony is actually really good, so I'm excited. So it's like a tribute concert to John Williams. But for like a span of 2 weeks, I thought I was going to see John Williams.
So close. Oh man, but still, that's gonna be awesome. My brother lives there in Puerto Rico. I know that he's a huge Star Wars fan. Sorry, my brother-in-law. My brother is also about this story. My brother-in-law, he's gone to a few of those, and they bring people dressed up as Darth Vader, as Boba Fett, stormtroopers. So it's a whole production. So
I'm excited to hear like everything. Like, of course, I want like main Star Wars, but I want to hear Indiana Jones, Superman, E.T., Jurassic Park,
Harry Potter.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry there.
Everything.
I'm gonna try not to have a drink because
all right, so I did finish Path of Deceit that I mentioned last week that I saw. I finished it. Haven't done my review online, just I haven't had the time. Enjoy the book. Very cool characters. Tessa Granton and Justina Ireland did a great job bringing that story to life. The only thing, I don't know if that was the best story to kind of start phase 2. The last 80 pages, like, oh, okay, I know now where this is going, but that's my only thing. Maybe a different story, but anyway, it's a pretty good read.
So I was shocked to see that they're starting the era with the YA, and nothing against the YA, but usually it's like the novels tell like the broader story.
Yeah.
So that was interesting for me.
Yeah. Have you read it, Mo, or no?
I'm so behind on High Republic. I'm still on Into the Dark. That's where
that's the best one.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So I like the Star Wars YA books. They're all the ones that I've read are really good.
Yeah, my favorite. I think most of my favorite ones are YA books, and this is one. And this is not a love story, but almost. There's a lot of romance, and that sounds weird. But the main characters are in this journey to fall in love. And one is a Jedi, one is someone from the path of the open hand. No spoilers because you learn pretty early that they don't share the same beliefs of how the Force should be used, if at all. And that kind of driving the whole story. And then the last 80 pages gets more kind of, oh, okay, I know now why this is important. But those first 280 pages or whatever is more of a slow book. So that's why I wasn't sure it's the best one to start. But it's a pretty cool story. It fits right in the High Republic. So you're not like, oh, this doesn't feel like it. It fits. They could have put this book in phase 1 and you wouldn't notice. So check it out. And we'll do a full review later. All right, so if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and the Andor Files.
I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Has he?
You don't know. Maybe eventually.
Like a metaphor.
I'm gonna do this like as long as that's like the audio clip you put, I'm always gonna do it. So
yeah, it's there. So you
it's fun.
Get ready for the next 6 weeks.
It's in good fun. So
yes. Who's there in the chat? It's our friend. Let me just highlight real quick. Dale is here. How you doing, Dale? Thanks for. He was waiting. He's here early. Thanks for joining us, Dale. We almost started early. I just forgot to send the link to everyone, but we're here. All right, Mo, as our guest, I want to start with you as always, kind of just how you've been feeling with the series so far, coming into episode 6, this kind of last episode of this Aldhani arc, and then just your overall thoughts about this episode.
Alberto, you know I'm biased. So I think it's fantastic. Yeah. But I loved this arc. I liked the 2-episode build-up because this episode was just like, it starts and then it's a ride the whole way through. I think this might be the best one of the series so far. And it's beautiful that it's like right in the middle, like best episode right in the middle of the series. I thought the character development was good, even though we'd lost quite a few of them.
Half of the team.
But you know what? My favorite movie is Rogue One, so I'm used to it. It's nothing that I'm not accustomed to.
Oti, we remember when Andor was announced and we got that 2-minute clip, not behind the scene, but kind of that featurette 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago. And Diego Luna said, it's the beginning of the revolution. You can say that this episode basically is starting that way, starting the revolution now. Overall thoughts on the episode, Oti, before we go into a bit more specifics.
Yeah, so when Galadriel takes the Andor, sorry.
No, yeah,
So,
we're getting there.
Yeah, no, I love this episode. You know me. I was like a little bit skeptical going into the show. My feelings towards Rogue One are not negative, but they're not as positive as with most of Star Wars. But I've been very happy so far, and this episode just like drove it home. Like I was like almost out of words like when we started doing we do the review like very shortly after watching the episode. So I just was like still like wrapping my head around everything, and it was fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, I know I might have sounded a little bit not angry or mad on Twitter a few days ago, posting I didn't care that Nemik died. I'm joking. I like Nemik. I just didn't feel that when we get to Rings of Power, I got emotional a few times. I didn't get emotional when Nemik died. I felt that hit he got. That was a pretty bad hit. I didn't see him coming back from that one.
I audibly was like, oh!
Yes. When I watched it first time, when I just watched it 2 hours ago, I had the same reaction. But, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, just gonna say I really enjoyed this episode. My chest was tight for those 40 minutes. How intense and tense it was. The tension was palpable. So in that regard, yes, the build of the 2 episodes before was great. Just because, like you said, Mo, when it starts. We go. We're done waiting, and yeah, they're gonna survive, but we don't know who. It was a very intense episode for my emotions, but. Before we go again into more specific, let's talk about the visuals. We talked about the visuals before and the writing and all that, but in this episode, come on, the eye, that Aldhani, all the meteor showers going, that's the TIE fighters getting ready to go out, but just visually, Mo, were you kind of not excited, but again, this is something new for Star Wars that we haven't seen, especially in the TV shows, this quality of visuals.
My mouth was like the whole time. It was so good. The part with the TIE fighters, I don't know why I'm so scared of TIE fighters. Like, this series makes me so scared of them. And then, like, just seeing them drop into their into the TIEs and, like, they're trying to escape. It just looked beautiful. And that's such a cool concept of just, like, all these meteor showers are coming in Star Wars. Like, I love that. It looked so good.
Yeah, I was not afraid because whatever, we don't know what's going to happen. But when the first one goes by, it's like, has it started? Yeah, like that's it, 1 every 5 minutes. But then we get the big reveal closer to the end. But yeah, I was going to leave it for later. But Oti, those TIE fighters, the TIE pilots getting ready, jumping into the TIE fighters. So we really don't see that. We see people getting ready for the X-Wings and how the canopy comes down. TIE fighters, we see a little bit of the inside in The Force Awakens, but here it's like Moses, pretty scary the way they're getting ready.
But even then, I now want like the same with the next wing. I want just let's follow a pilot getting in and just turning everything on, and let's get that. But I agree, and I think we talked about this in the last episode, but how they've recontextualized the TIE fighter, how it's usually just like cannon fodder for the X-Wings. And now here's like we get one. Now we get only 3, and they're scary because our heroes are not Jedi. They're not on the Falcon. The Han Solo is not gonna come in and save the day. At least we think he isn't. But it's been very, very interesting how they've used things that we know in a slightly different way, and it works. And that's just such a Star Wars fan thing. Like, oh, we had never seen them get on the cockpit. It's like, okay, sure, but I agree. I was excited.
And turning it on, and the screen turns on, and put this button the other. I don't know. It felt like, okay, we gotta take them serious.
It was the build up to that, and then the shot of them, and then it just says like Alkanzi Air Command, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, no, man, it was great. Again, like you said, TIE fighters. There's dime a dozen basically, but this series just in 1 or 3 have put that fear in everyone. Every time I worked at the university and we have the hospital next to it, so there's the helicopter that takes patients that just flies by 3 times a day. Every time it's flying by low, I'm like, oh crap, it's a TIE fighter. So no, okay.
By the way, let's go to the chat for a second.
Yeah.
We have Juan Mereles. He
Ooh,
says, hello,
Juan.
everyone. Episode 6, amazing. So excited to hear the discussion.
Thanks for
And we
joining us,
have
Juan.
Amy Guerra on the
Hi,
chat.
Amy.
Amy, how you
herself.
doing? Yeah, thanks for joining us, Amy, as always. So Empire's treatment of the Aldhani, the people of Aldhani. We've known, or we kind of, they used to have this valley, now they're not here, colonization or whatever. But here we see actual treatment. First, just the commandant and everyone else talking down to them, but then talking about, there used to be 15,000 that came up here. Now there's just 150, and through this whatever 6-day trek or 3-week trek, there's only 50 now. Yeah, and by next time they won't even be here, and then they stink and all this stuff. Like, oh man, they just keep hammering on it. Oti, we already hate the Empire, but this kind of pushes the needle a little bit deeper.
I mean, you can't escape the colonization of it all. And there's a specific scene when they talk about how they manipulate them, and at the end, and then and the remaining ones will just put them to work.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that kind of hit home, because I don't want to get too like deep into like real world stuff, but like you see parallels to, and in my experience, to the relationship of Puerto Rico and the US, how the colonization and how Puerto Rico's like slowly but surely like getting empty, like. Like 10 years ago we were 4 million, now we're 3, and there's like a very real worry about people just leaving and professionals just getting out of here. So that like hit very, very home for me. So I was the writing on this episode was just sensational, from the dialogue to how everything's just structured around the eye thing. I'm sure we'll get to that, but
right, I'll come back to that point. I mean, about the parallels of people leaving, but same kind of thought process for the way the Empire treats the poor people of Aldhani. Then when they get there, we'll just give them the ship pelt, and it's like a lease for 3 more years, and then they just burn it because they know it's an empty gesture. How, again, at some point they want us to feel not sorry for the Empire, but kind of empathize with a few characters. But on the other end, it's very blatant what they're doing.
I just love how like the natives just like hate them, and it's like so apparent, like they just in their facial expressions, and then like when they're giving each other the pelts, like it just seems like, all right, just give it to them so that we could just keep going on. And then I forget the line specifically that Gorn doesn't translate. But that was such a good line. Like our ghosts, like they don't forget. We don't forget what you did and like how you drove us out of our land. Like, so good.
I love that moment when the leader looks at Gorn like,
that's I know you didn't translate. Yeah, it was great because, like you mentioned, Otis, they said, we just put little kind of checkpoints along the way with very cheap drinks so they can get drunk and forget about this, so they don't make it up here. And then at the end, when this engineer, I guess Pettigar, wasn't the engineer we were hoping for, kind of says, but we'll be able to be here again, or will they help us kind of expand? And then they won't have a choice because eventually they'll have to come work for us. I was watching about 2 days ago something, David Becknell, this reporter that goes to Puerto Rico a lot, talking to some medical students in Puerto Rico. My brother, who lives in Puerto Rico, is a doctor. He was one that he stayed there. He's still there. But talking to about 20 medical students, that all of them want to stay in the island, but saying how bad they're treated from the federal government, instead how Medicare doesn't pay anything on the island compared to the states, and that even though they don't want to leave, in 2 or 3 years, they may all have to leave. So it's kind of that same thing that, the way they're treating the Aldhani and the way sometimes the state treats the Puerto Ricans, they have to move and have to have their lives over there. It's kind of, We try not to get too much into real world parallels, but they're there.
Now I'm gonna say what I was gonna say already.
Go ahead.
So I remember. It'll be quick. I remember like 5 years ago. I was still in college. I was reading this article about how Puerto Ricans are the jurisdiction or the state in the U.S. that has the most prepared professional class. Like the working class in Puerto Rico has the most like advanced degrees, to say something, because education here is like fairly cheap, as you know, Alberto. So so it was correlating that to how a lot of people are leaving for like better wages than here, but maybe cheaper wages than the states they're moving in. And it was how companies are being able to attract very well prepared people from Puerto Rico at a cheaper rate. And it's like this vicious. It was all around the time like they were talking about the bailout and what are they going to do with the debt. And it was like this vicious cycle. Like the U.S. has no interest in fixing the problems because they're gaining something out of it. They're getting like very well prepared people over there for very cheaply.
Yeah, because like you said, compared to Puerto Rico, when I moved here and I got offered a $10 job, I was jumping into the air like, this is the greatest thing ever. And now it's like 13 years later, and the minimum wage is still 7 something, and people are fighting to get 15, maybe 3 years from now, and then you can't even afford a.
Thankfully, here the minimum wage went up. It's not 7 anymore.
Yeah, well, it sucks. Anyway, this isn't 60 minutes or trial divorce. We're not gonna get into all that. But we could. Yeah.
I found the quote. It's "Tell them our ghosts have strong hands and long memories." That's just
there you go.
Such a good one.
Yeah. And one is an East brain drain, a horrible colonial tactic. Yes. So we learned, because we knew supposedly that Skeen was fighting for his dead brother, Nemik fighting for the cause. Cassian is a hired gun. We didn't know what Taramin, what was his reason for fighting. Here we learned he's an ex-stormtrooper. Were you surprised to hear that, Mo?
I think like StarWars.com, they released like each of the character cards. So I knew that before going into this episode. But I love that we have these defectors like working, trying to tear down the Empire from within. I love that story.
Yeah, it was a great surprise for myself. And we're starting to see a little bit more of these kind of Stormtrooper Empire defectors, which is kind of keeps building that lore in Star Wars. But Oti, any idea that this might be the way that we're going, or were you surprised by it?
I had no idea. I was like, ooh, interesting.
And then the tension between like Cinta and Taramin because of that, because her family was killed by stormtroopers. Like that was good.
Was he a part of the company that killed her family? I
don't think so. I think it's just like she just has resentment for stormtroopers, and then the fact that he was one was hard for her.
Yeah, I can't wait now to go back and watch the first 2 episodes of this arc to see their interaction, to see if we can see any of that. I don't think there is. It will be cool to see that. But then we learn also that Vel and Cinta, they have their own separate part of the mission. We kind of learned a little bit about it last time, but here they're hiding in this rock or whatever hideout. Stormtrooper, or not a stormtrooper, one of the garrison comes, takes a leak right there, which I didn't notice at first.
First time we see someone pee in Star Wars.
Did that took you out, Oti? The cereal took you out?
No, that didn't take me out.
You're fine with that.
Yeah. We knew there were back tubes before, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's right. But
no more Cocoa Puffs, though. No more
Cocoa Puff. We didn't get a chance to see Cyril Karn still trying to eat the same bowl for 3 days. We'll get a lot of them for next episode, I'm sure. But we get with Vel and Cinta. They go under the water. Another great shot of them with the little turbine getting there. Vel kind of not freezing, but kind of the way I saw it was once we do this, it's on and we can't turn back, and that kind of hesitation. Did you see that same way more? Do you thought for a second that maybe she might just freeze and Cinta might have to take over?
I think it was just she was trying to process everything. Because at this point, like in the mission, they are like behind on time.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of pressure for her. And in that moment, she knows that like, once I give them the signal, there's no turning back. We are doing this. And I like actually that they they gave us that small moment
Mhm.
because you only see Vel as like this leader of the rebel cell. Like she's very courageous, she's strong, and then you kind of see her just have a human moment of like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, it was great because once that happens, she's back on point and she's directing traffic and pointing guns at people's head and giving another great line, which I forget. It's either I don't know what she says. There's only one way, and if we don't win, then everyone dies or something.
Yeah.
But Oti, from that scene, and then when the heist kind of start, when Taramyn, Skeen, Cassian, and Nemik is taking the family back, and then just kind of takes them hostage. And I saw a very bad take on Twitter that someone said, "Our List Empire never took a kid's hostage. They're not that bad." And I'm like, I gotta
they
get
blew up a
off.
whole planet, but it's okay.
Yeah.
They held the entire galaxy hostage. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
They're like tracking down Force-sensitive kids and stealing them from the families, but they don't hold them hostage.
Oh, it's fine. So Alberto, something you mentioned at the beginning, the tension in this episode, and thinking about it, I think that a big part of it is that we don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
we don't, because usually in this kind of story and blockbusters, we usually get that moment when they go over the plan and oh, you're gonna be here and this is the escape. We had no idea what was going on. We knew Vel and Cinta were gonna do their own thing. These four had to do some training and they were gonna steal some money. And they had to get the ship or something out of a ramp. But that was it. What?
The Rono.
Yeah, sure, the Rono. So at a point I realized, I don't know if things are going their way. Like, I have no idea if things are going their way or they're just improvising. Like, that moment when they took the hostages, apparently that was part of the plan. But that's usually like when they're getting desperate, when things are not going well. Yeah. So, and that moment when Taramyn is like, yo, we're running out of time. We have to do this. And so that was awesome. And that's why I say the episode is brilliantly written, because we don't know how things are supposed to be going, and that helps with the tension. So when we get to that part, when they have the hostages, I'm like, all bets are off. Like, are they gonna kill them? Are they what's happening?
And then the moment when the engineer like pulls out his blaster and like everyone's just at gunpoint, I was like, oh my god, how are they gonna get out of this? And then Cinta just comes through. I was like, oh, thank god.
Thank God for Cinta. But even Nemik's face, and I know what I said, but the actor, props to him. He looked terrified, like you would if you had a blaster pointed at you. So props. And like you said, Oti, we had no idea. Hi, Roberto. How are you doing? Roberto will be here in a couple of weeks. I don't know the schedule. I think so. Hopefully. Okay. I don't know. I think
if not, you're welcome here.
Yeah, he'll be here.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for one final confirmation for the finale, but that's like a month away. Which
I will not be here.
I know, you bastard. But that scene was great because like you said, Otto, we had no idea. Even when they're calling, how are we doing on time? They say like 5-4 or 5-9, some code that I don't know what the hell it meant. So that tension was there all throughout the episode. I'll say one thing, I understand why they kept cutting to the Aldhani people. You know, we're gonna leave this when we talk more about the eye. I just say, Aldhani, you're fine. But
that was for the tension, I think.
Yeah.
Really, I kind of liked it. I liked that it was like their chant, like it's like eyes coming.
The chant made me even more nervous.
Exactly, because I thought something was going to happen to them. I thought the Empire's going to just go nuts and it's going to take them out, or they're going to do something to derail the plan. But it's just them singing, and they kept cutting back to it, and that's why nothing happened with them.
The way I see it, the way I saw it, I thought they had like that window. Like the minute they stopped singing, the Empire's attention would immediately shift to them. So that's what I thought they were doing. I don't think that's what it was, but for me, that helped with the tension.
All right. It's fine. They're chanting.
It's fine.
It's fine. Anyway, so the whole group is back. They kind of separate again. Let's go to not the vault, to the viewing chamber up there to take command of take the command center.
You can't forget the Vel Cinta hand touch.
Yeah, so it's at that part when they're going to separate, and then we have bit more confirmation because it was a throwaway line, I guess, a few episodes before when they kind of said, "Oh, they're already sharing a blanket or something like that."
Yeah.
Confirmation, come back to me. We'll see each other again, which hopefully they will. We don't know. They're separated at this point. OT, yes.
At the end, I was like, "Where's Cinta? Is she
Yeah.
safe? Is she all right?"
For real.
She's
I mean,
dressed as an imperial at that point, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Cinta.
And also, she was like crying. They should kill everyone. Is she sad that she doesn't know what's happening?
I don't think she would have killed everyone because she saw them leave. But actually, I think she sees them leave after, like she walks out of that room. So I don't know.
She sees.
And these people are aware of Saw Gerrera? Are they like, this is the only way? Kill everyone.
Man, maybe all the Aldhani people.
No, I think they're fine. I think she maybe murdered the Imperial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go talk to the heist. So they go down there, take over. People are just so dumb because 4 people come in with the commandant in the middle, arms drawn, or they're playing poker or whatever. Everyone to the side. Skeen takes over and Taramin just yelling at everyone. That I was scared because Skeen did look at a scary guy when he went into the whatever chamber with all the credits. Get him over! What are you waiting for? Dude, I'm like, that's a lot of money, man. Just hurry up. You don't need all that. You're gonna be there 3 days.
That was the other thing. Go ahead, Mo. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I just love that line where like they get the credits like open and he's just like, "Let's go!"
Yeah. No, it was a great delivery. He nailed it.
Yeah.
So, but that was the other thing. We had no idea how much credits they were supposed to get out of there, and there was like a lot, and they were going very slowly. So that again helps with the tension.
Man, they weren't in the best of shape. There's only 6 of them.
J-Holes had a heart attack.
Struggling.
I mean, when he saw Gorn coming down, you'll hang for this. 7 years working for you, I deserve worse.
Like just the shot of him like hearing Gorn's voice, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, again, it's acting, writing, everything.
By the way, that line when he goes like, "Oh, don't help them; they'll just kill us," and Vel goes like, "No, that's what you would do."
That's what you would do, right? Yeah, so good.
Poor Commandant. It's not happy with his son.
I love that character, by the way. You know, I love me my Imperials. He's a dude. I'm glad he died, but I love them.
Yeah. I mean,
he's like, what's wrong with this belt? I think it's short. He's like, nah,
Andrew will be here also. Now, jumping in with when Lauren gets here, Andrew will be a 2 guest that day. He'll be here. But I don't know. I mean, a great kind of just tension as they're stealing all these credits. The little block that Vel and Cinta put, I guess, didn't work so well because the other guy was able to break through it. See that they were stealing because it was just laid out. Oh, we're in the vault. We got the credits. It's working. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Ote, do you think maybe Gorn might be able to convince him when they all show down? This is not a secret mission, but what did he say?
I thought
classified mission.
Yeah, classified.
I
thought they were gonna pull it off. I really did for like a second.
I think if the commandant didn't just like knock out at that moment, it probably would have worked.
Yeah.
But like I think him having a heart attack just doing like 10 minutes of physical labor. He was like, wait a minute. What's going on?
By the way, I love that line when he's like screaming at his wife for not packing well the belt and now it compressed and she's like, I think you expanded.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and there's whatever, I'll do it myself. It's funny because she's like, oh, I'm helping our son get dressed. Oh, he's 12, he can dress himself. But you're asking your wife to help you dress. Come on, dude.
I know a lot of people like that, unfortunately.
Yes. It was a great scene. Then all hell breaks loose and the shootout starts. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we lose Gorn. We lost Taramin.
So does Gorn die?
He's the first one to get shot. I don't know if he's dead.
And then, like, we don't see him like rise up after. He could be alive.
Okay.
But
He's just laying there with one eye open, waiting for everyone to get out. All right, I can go now.
Okay, so Amy is disappointed that Gorn died.
same.
And yeah, so
It was fast.
Yeah, my wife didn't notice. She's like, "Oh, where's the other guy?" Like, "Oh, he got shot."
That's like my only critique with this episode. Like some of the characters, I'm like, wait, what happened to them? Like for Gorn, Cinta, Tyriman's like pretty obvious, but yeah.
All right, so let's get to it. So they're able. Okay, they get on the Rono, turn it on, they shoot out. Before we go into what happened inside, let's talk about the eye. We finally get the whole meteor shower. The Dani are chanting. They stop their chant. Everyone's looking. Even the Imperials are looking at this spectacle. Everyone's crying. Mo, did you like the visual, the eye?
You know, I loved it. I loved how like the natives and the Imperials are in awe, and we are as well. Like we're both watching this, and we're like, oh. And it just the shot of like all the meteors coming up was so good. I mean, I think I saw a tweet, and it was like the eye and the Holdo maneuver are like some of the top tier stunning shots in Star Wars. They're just fantastic.
I was just gonna say that, like, for me, watching that was just the same as watching the Holdo maneuver for the first time. I was like, oh my god, this is so pretty.
Yeah.
It was pretty. And we saw the effect that it had on the TIE fighter controls. They don't know how to target. They don't know how to do whatever.
Yeah.
But before then, I mean, we already talked about everyone getting ready on the TIE fighter, so we love that scene.
That's right. Like, you know, it's good when the Imperials are shocked.
Yeah, that's right. So we talked about the TIE fighters getting ready, how we all love that. But as soon as the Rono kind of goes into hyperdrive, they all go flying. And then, unfortunately, Nemik gets hit in the chest with half a ton of credits.
That's probably so heavy. I mean, it was taking them forever just to load them in there. I can imagine how heavy it was.
It's like at full speed, just slamming against.
It's like Cassian told them to hang on.
I don't know if you actually hear it, but in my head, I heard like that. Yeah, his back.
Yeah, I think we did. It was funny when he says "hold on" and he just shoots. That everyone goes flying by, even the body. The guy that they shoot goes just flying by. But then Nemik's able to. He gets some adrenaline or something shocked into him to be able to speak a little. Yes, Imperial adrenaline. And it's giving Cassian the coordinates. Go up, go down, or climb, I should say. That
unnecessary. Why would they do that?
Bringing K2 into this.
Why would they do that?
Roberto, by the way, Roberto is not over that scene.
I'll never be over it.
I'll just say I'm like kind of with Alberto. Like, I didn't really care that much. Like he was a good kid. Like I'll say that. Like, and I didn't want him to die. I liked him. I would have liked to see him go forward, but we all knew what was gonna happen.
We knew it was gonna happen, but like I think the saddest part was like he was the most committed one out of every single one of them.
But that's like part of it. Like this has to be cruel. Like I think I mentioned it last week. Like we're in a pivotal point for Cassian and for the rebellion. So these kind of things have to happen to just like keep pushing them forward. And I don't think Nemik is the last character they'll fridge for the sake of the story.
Oh yeah, no. Tony Gilroy said there's a body count. So
yeah, apart from Cassian and Mon Mothma, everyone's up for grabs.
My poor Cyril.
Cyril can't. He'll last. We'll have him for next.
He has to have his entanglement with Deidre first before.
Oh yes, give me some Imperial relationships, some Imperial romance. We haven't got it.
Make a baby or something.
Hopefully, we'll see. I just lost my train. Oh, so Nemik. So my thing with Nemik, and I mean, bless the internet. I know it's there. Just we tweet what we want. We want to get likes, or the thing is, people get too attached to the next thing. So this episode was the best. The finale of She-Hulk was the best MCU finale. This was one. I think Rip Conrad, Nemik, killed by the Imperial capital he was fighting against.
Yeah, Conrad.
That's a bad way to go. It's like people get not too attached, because in Star Wars, we know we all get attached to those secondary and minor characters. But again, he was there for 2 episodes. I think his point was to kind of get Cassian more into this rebellion, kind of believe in it, and that's why we see that he gets handed the manifesto at the end, and we know that's gonna come back at some point soon.
That's gonna be Cassian's turning point for sure.
Yeah, is that Mo? I think you tweeted out and some other people that from there maybe rebellions are built on hope. It's written somewhere inside there.
I'm certain. I know it. Because it's devastating, so they're obviously going to do that.
That would suck in the best way possible.
Yeah.
By the way, let's talk about the manifesto.
Oh man,
Manifesto?
People terrified of manifestos.
Yeah. Don't say that word.
It's a word that you can get out. But anything else before we jump to kind of the end when Skeen's betrayal becomes apparent? Anything we kind of forgot to talk about?
Dr. Quadpaw. What was the name?
Quadpaw.
Oh, yeah.
One of those Star Wars names. He has 4 hands. Quadpaw.
He's a weirdo. Yeah. I love him.
Quadruped. Yeah, paws. Quadpaw.
I feel like Skeen's like betrayal hurts so much more because he was rooting for Nemik before. Like he's like, no, she doesn't want to make this stop because she's going to jeopardize the mission. And he is the reason we're here. Like, you see him vouch for him, and then it just makes the betrayal hurt so much more.
Was his brother's story all a lie, or was it, oh, my brother's dead, I don't care that much? Or did his brother really die at the hands of the Empire? I'm kind of in between.
I love that they leave it open.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
I think it's true.
I think the times and the Empire have made him maybe a little bit salty and maybe lose his way in a way.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think it's true. And then like the shot when they get into the vault and he's looking at all the credits, I don't think he knew how much they were going to get out with. Yeah. And I think that really changed like his motives.
Yeah, there's a second when he enters before he kind of yells to everyone that he kind of, you see something that might just click. Oh, that's a lot of credits.
And even seeing someone like Nemik be like, killed, almost killed by nonsensically, maybe that takes him to just like be like, yeah, no, this cause is not worth it. I'll just take my money, go away, hide away, and just live my life.
He's for sure just like an opportunist. He's like, I have all this money. Sure. He's dead. We can leave right now.
Yeah.
After everything, when I watched it the first time and that scene is happening where he's telling, oh, we gotta take him to the doctor who was built on the contingency plan, I was buying it. But then kind of rewatching, it's like, maybe that's just his way to be able to then separate Val and Cassian and make his move. So maybe he wasn't that concerned about Nemik. Is okay, this is my way to kind of separate. And when he's talking to Cassian, you'll take 40 million, I'll take 40 million. Dude, you saw how difficult it was to get that onto the ship. How are you just gonna take 40 million? And then, oh no, there's this moon, we'll go over there. Still. But Cassian doesn't wait. He kills very liberally in this show, so you gotta be careful.
And by the way, I just want to mention, like, it's kind of true to the Star Wars themes. Like, his whole thing was revenge. And as that may be a catalyst and a motivation, but if you're only driven by revenge, I don't think that's a noble cause, and it'll take you to do these kind of things because it's not real. You'll never be satisfied, so it'll lead you to maybe betray everyone around you.
So you're saying that revenge leads to the dark side?
Yes.
Come on. Yeah, so but again, Cassian doesn't wait. Finally kills him. I thought Skeen was gonna die a hero, but he went completely the other way. Mo, were you surprised with Cassian then entering the surgery suite, and instead of just confessing what happened and let's move forward to hey, I just want my 30,000 that was promised and I'll get out of here. Were you surprised as the way he kind of went?
Not really, just because like this is not the Cassian we know in Rogue One yet. And then like I think it was also Vel's reaction to it. Like, she's like, nah, Skeen wouldn't do that. And he's like, so maybe I shouldn't trust you either, because he definitely did. And it was just that line of like, oh, she doesn't trust me because this guy literally just tried to do this and she's now doubting that. And so he's like, nope, I'm taking my cut and I'm going to leave.
I'll take kind of the same feeling. Were you surprised? At least Cassian at the end kind of gives her the kyber crystal back as a token of good faith. Like, you can trust me a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was not shocked at all. Like, for me, it made sense for the character. I think now he's gonna just take that money and go out to find his sister or something. But yeah, I really wasn't that shocked with that.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, it goes back to the beginning, which one of the reasons I knew that Nemik wasn't gonna make it is because he got a lot of screen time at the beginning, talking with Cassian, deep conversations. But when Nemik said, "Oh, I have all these beliefs and I can't sleep," you don't believe in anything and you sleep like a rock or a stone. It's, oh, you got two things wrong there. One, the Empire doesn't care about you, and what's the other one? He has a reason, which is his sister. He's doing this to find his sister. So I think that's kind of still playing into it.
By the way, there's a moment in the beginning. I can't remember the line, but when they're talking about the role of mercenaries in the rebellion and the
struggle
fight
for galactic freedom.
Yeah, there's a moment that he tells him like, oh, he kind of thinks he can be complacent or something to everything. I don't remember what's the line, but I love when he looks at him. Look at my eyes. Do they look like complacent or something?
Do I look thankful? I think is what he said.
Oh yes. Do I look thankful? Yes.
And he's like, no.
Yeah,
I love that.
Talking about bad takes on Twitter from last week, that guy that I think was a guy that posted that the one thing he doesn't like about Andor is Cassian Andor because Diego Luna is not a compelling character. Just look at that. They're just yes. Sorry, Oti, to bring this back. See you next week.
I don't understand how you could watch the first episode of like the corpos like harassing him and just his facial expression. Everything, all his acting is in his face. Like that was compelling to me. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So talking about compelling, we go finally back to Coruscant, to the Senate, with Mon Mothma trying to convince the senators about this motion that she's proposing. And there's like 5 cats, like they say in Puerto Rico, cinco gatos, not paying attention, looking at something and then just walking out. And then she looks down and kind of, at that point, I don't know what was going on, but Oti, we kind of talked about this, I think, at some point, that the Senate is not there. It's pretty empty. How was that scene for you?
But by the way, quickly, Roberto mentioned how he loved how random the shot was from Cassian to Skeen. I was shocked. I was shocked by that, by the way. I didn't think he was going to shoot him. But that scene, man, that's my favorite little scene for this episode. It just shows so much with so little, literally. There's no one there, and the people who are there are not paying attention. I think that's Mon Mothma kind of a twin sons moment. She realizing like from there she's not gonna do anything. She's not gonna be able to fix anything from there. Palpatine has made sure that the Senate is basically just a formality, and they just go there, debate ideas, but at the end of the day, it's Palpatine's will. And maybe they still have like a little bit of process and everything, but it all goes back to him.
Mo, that scene for you in the Senate, and then kind of from there going to Luthen getting the news that a rebel attack on Aldhani, and then just taking a minute for himself.
The Senate shot was so unexpected. I like when it happened, I was like, oh my God, we're in the Senate. Like, and I agree, Odie, like for sure, like he's trying to vouch for the Gormans, and first of all, like no one's there. No one cares. And the people that are there, like, they're distracted. Like, nobody, she's not going to, as we know, she's not going to get anything done in the Senate. And that was, I think that is probably a turning point for her. Like, she's like, yeah, this is not the way to go about it. It is a facade, for sure. Yeah. And then going back to Luthen, I love going back to his little artifact shop. His little laugh, and then afterwards he's like, oh God, now we actually have to be doing this all the time.
It's real now.
By the way, the moment they go like, do you have anything from Aldhani? I thought they were onto him. I was like, oh no. And he thought
that too. He was scared.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be the Debbie Downer.
Oh, come on. Por favor.
Even though I like the scenes and I understand their meaning, to me, they were wrongly placed. For the same reason that I said before, that the episodes just end out of nowhere. we spent 40 minutes with the heist crew, and then we cut to the Senate, we cut to Luthen, and the episode ends. We don't know how Val and Cassian ended. We don't know what's going on there. We don't know what happened with Cinta. Like, we spent 40 minutes with these characters. We jumped to the Senate, which I was thinking the same thing that you guys said, that there's no one here. She's just talking to empty chairs. But then I started, no, everyone's leaving because they're seeing the news that something happened all then, and she picks up her tablet, and I guess she sees it there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that tells that to the audience. Okay, if you're paying attention or whatever, it took me like 15 minutes thinking about, oh, that's what. She picked that up, and that's where she saw the news.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's really that important. I think the purpose of that scene is reminding us, hey, Mon Mothma's on the show, and giving us that shot of the empty everything.
But I think it's not needed because nothing else. We had no indication that something was happening in the Senate. And then with Luthen, of course, this is his mission, so it makes sense to kind of end it on him on a happy note. But it's the same thing I said before, it just ends. And with this being that close to this arc, it just kind of, okay, but what's going on with the people that we left for 40 minutes? Where's Cinta, like we mentioned before? She just starts walking out. I don't know. That was my only critique. It's the one I had before, that the episode just ends kind of abruptly. Everything else was great. Just that ending kind of, really? That's how we're going to end this arc? But it's fine. All right, so...
It was random, for sure. Yeah. Like, especially like after like a heist. You're just like, oh, what? I thought the episode was going to end there, like with Cinta. I didn't think we are going to get those last two shots.
All right, so Mo, the first blow has been struck. The rebels are out there. What's going to happen in episode 7? We're starting to hear that episode 7 is something completely different. It's not this 3-episode arc. It's going to be separate for 8, 9, 10, and then we have 11 and 12. I want to say that at the beginning, before the series started, there was something in one of those interviews said that 11 and 12 are going to be the continuation of episode 7. Where do you think 7 is going? Is now Luthen gonna finally go talk to Saw? Hey, we started. Now we gotta go. And maybe more of what's happening in Coruscant with the Senate and the ISB now that the rebellion is kind of getting a little bit more recognition.
Forget the ISB. Bring me Saw Gerrera. It's Saw's time. I think Luthen at this point realizes that he has something there. He can build cells. He just now has to keep people there. And he has to, because, you are going to lose people along the way, but you also have to realize you had someone like Skeen on your team that's not committed. Like, I think he's going to go to Saw for some type of advice because, everyone goes to Saw to pick up the slack. So bring me Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, hopefully we get him next week. Do you think this is where we're going, Oti? Give me Saw, give me the Senate?
I don't, honestly. I think... Saw, if this is true, like 11 and 12 are back to back and the middle 3 episodes are something else, I think we got Saw maybe at the end of 9 or at the end of whatever, like at the end of the random episodes, and then we get him for the next 3, because come on, it's Forrest Whitaker. Like, you're not gonna bring him for one episode, for one
bring him
random
in for multiple.
Yeah, so let's have him be in a string of episodes, like showing up.
I think that he'll be in episode 7, which is the standalone, because I think that 7 then connects to 11 and 12. Yeah. And that's when we'll see then multiple rebel cells kind of maybe attacking at the same time. But I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, we don't want him there just for one scene, right? Just give us more.
I want to see him talk to Mothma.
I want dialogue.
Oh, yes. All right, so we're almost there. We're halfway through Andor. We're all loving it. It's been what we've wanted from this show, from both the Empire and the Rebel side. We still have a lot more with Deidre and with Luthen. Not Luthen, with Cyril Karn. What's Roberto adding?
So he's saying that now we're going to have to see Mothma get her hands dirty because the Senate doesn't work and the Rebels is the only way. So I want to see that. Like,
yeah, we still need that scene from one of the trailers where she's talking to someone else. Oh, if they knew what I was doing, I'll be in trouble. Yeah, so we're still missing that scene. We're missing the Saw scenes. And I think there's something who posted it. Sorry?
And Bale.
When are we going to Bale Organa's going to be there.
We got to go back to Ferrex.
Yeah, there's
a shot in the trailer where they're throwing that explosive in the crowd.
B2 emo.
And Vel, I think Vel is in Ferrix.
Yeah.
So we gotta see that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe her and Cassian go together, or she goes to find him. A lot still going on. So can't wait for next week, the next episode of Andor. Hopefully it doesn't end abruptly, but
it will.
And it's by this time I'm not used to it, and that's my fault. This is the show, and for the most part, I've been enjoying a lot of it. So just stay away from all the discourse on Twitter. Every week gets dumber and dumber.
It kind of makes you realize why we are where we are politically.
Yeah, the thing is now, and I tweeted out kind of haphazardly that before we were arguing on Twitter against the fandom menace, all these racists or misogynists or whatever, and it's just the same people that are the good guys on Twitter, on Star Wars Twitter. I gotta be right. If you say something that, Andor is showing how you can really do Star Wars show. Oh, why are you attacking everyone else that loves the other show? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is a great show. It might be better than the other one. But I love the other ones, right? Dude,
okay, then love the other ones.
You don't need to answer. Anyway, all right. So before we jump to our next one, let's finish off with the chat. I see that Andrew said a couple of things.
Andrew's not happy with the discourse. He also thinks Vel will be in Ferrix, and he thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, so that's it for Andor talk for this week. Can't wait for next week. But now, before Otti leaves in the next few minutes, we gotta do it. And it's when we jump to our new segment, A World Between Fandoms. All right, Otti, we made it. I don't know how long you have before you leave. Sorry it was so loud. Rings of Power, we got the finale, we got Sauron. We got a bunch of stuff. Give me your thoughts.
Mo, have you watched Rings of Power?
I haven't. I've tried to watch Lord of the Rings a few times, and it's a little bit of a struggle for me. So but I've heard you could watch Rings of Power without watching
you can.
The movies.
It helps watching the movies because I had to rewatch them when the show started because I was not following the show at all. But so, do you mind if we spoil the shit out of it?
All right.
So, dude, Maggie called it.
She did. I haven't tweeted it out because I know she doesn't watch till Monday. But I have screenshot of a conversation we had right when the show started, about 3 weeks into it, when we had that conversation. Oh, if Halbrand is Sauron, what's this gonna mean for Galadriel? Because she's helping the person that she's helping. It's the one that she was finding, and a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna tweet that out.
By the way, the chat is not happy. Like they say, Mo needs to watch the Ring of.
I will. Yes. I'll catch up on Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power.
Yes. But yes. So the.
Oh, and
Andrew we'll go to House of the Dragons.
Sorry. So okay, I'm gonna spoil it, guys. So, dude, what a great reveal, and I'm surprised how much it worked.
It worked great because of how the show started. Because they throw the range that the stranger was Sauron, because the mystic tell us, "Oh, we finally found you, Lord Sauron," and he believes it. And I'm watching my wife, and my wife's like, "No, it can't be, because he has to be good. He has to be." Yeah. Because we've been so.
I think it would have been a betrayal of what they showed with Nori. Like,
not completely.
The peril, but my God, when did you realize? By the way,
when is Galadriel here? No, where am I? Oh, this is the works of Celebrimbor. Oh, Celebrimbor, because my master, like, you mother.
My moment was when he said, "Consider it a gift," because I don't know that much about the Lord, but I know about Anatar, Lord of Gifts, and I was like, no!
And he was too invested. Oh, look at this gem. Look at this. What does this one do? Oh, have you tried doing this? He showed his hand of how much he knows about metallurgy and all this stuff. I'm like, and he knows.
Has thought about it. He has thought about it.
When he said, "Is Galadriel here?" No. Oh, you're Celebrimbor, because my master that I apprenticed said such great things. I can't believe that I'm here in your presence. Like, she's there. But then they switch back to the stranger and still trying to play it off. Oh, clear his mind because the veil, he still doesn't know who he is. Like, oh, well, they're still playing with me, but it's too obvious. But again, Charlie Vickers, you gotta give it up for Halbrand. And the stranger also, I forgot. I don't know have the name of the actor, but Vickers did a great job with Halbrand all the way through. And then I love when Galadriel started to sense, like when Celebrimbor says, "Oh, Halbrand is the one that kind of gave us the idea because it's I don't no wait I have it here.
He says the Adar line.
Not of the flesh, over flesh. Like there it is, 100% confirmation. It's like, where did you hear that? Oh, I don't know. Was it me that said it? Who said it? Was Halbrand with you? Oh, I think I said it, and then leaves. And like, oh, she knows.
Yep. So getting a little bit broad strokes, but when we talked to Maggie, I remember I said like I wanted him not to know who he was, but I love that he knows, and I love that. So do you think his moments with Galadriel leading to this episode were sincere?
Man, that's the conversation. I don't know. I gotta go watch and see. Because when Galadriel is like, "Oh, you saved me on that boat." No. You saved me. Oh, well, you convinced Numenor to come fight.
I want to say Numenor.
It was you that convinced them. And I told you I got this from a dead man. That's I love that. Because he switches. He said, "You know who I am." Oh, and throws the whatever, the scroll with all the family lineage. It's like, I told you I got this from a dead man. That switch was great. And I think he was sincere because he says, "With you by my side, we're going to rule." And it's, rule or what I have here?
No, he says, we're going to heal. And then she says, is that the
save or rule? Yeah.
Save or rule.
I see no difference.
Yes.
So it's like he wanted her to be like that dark queen, the queen, not dark, but beautiful, like she says in Lord of the Rings. And at the scene of the water turning and there's Sauron with the crown and Galadriel next. I love you.
I just want to say that ever since I saw the episode last night, I was getting like very deep into like reading about the lore because I'm a very casual fan, and I was reading that when in the books when Morgoth dies, there's a moment there where Sauron thinks about just leaving it all behind and just redeeming himself, which is so weird because in the cultural conscious, Sauron is just like the embodiment of evil. In the movies, he's a presence. He's not like real, and like humanizing him and having him be like falling in love with Galadriel and having these desires and being a person. Wow. And it's for me, it's the same thing they did with Vader when they showed us Anakin's life. We're seeing Sauron's origin story. How, because I don't think he's pure evil at this moment. I think he's gonna get there by the end of the show. But my God, I was floored, honestly.
It was, and I think it's not that he wanted to go good or go to the light, even though he says to Galadriel, "You bind me to the light, I bind you to power. Together we can kind of rule." He wanted that because when they had the conversation earlier, a couple of episodes, we felt it just being in battle, being together. It's like, I can forget my past. And he even tells Galadriel, "You told me, forget about my past and just go to the future." So I think there is a point that he wants to do the right. It's like all the great villains in his eyes, what he's doing is the right way. Because Adar tells it, Sauron was trying to create this new world or whatever. He went too far off, and that's why I had to kill him. And so I think Sauron or Halbrand at this point was trying not to go good, but the way he was trying to fix Middle Earth, it's not the way to go about it. But like he also tells Galadriel, they cast you out because you couldn't stop chasing me. What are they going to do when they find out that you were the one helping me? It's like, we're in this together.
That line I'll never forget, and I'll make sure no one else forgets. Oh my God.
I make sure no one forgets. And that's also important when she tells Elrond, "You told me that you would trust me. You wouldn't betray me again. So I'm not going to tell you what happened, but you're going to find out." And when he found out, it's like he has that scroll. Like,
I love that he doesn't say anything because I think that's him like trusting her. But
at one point, I was so scared when he goes down and starts looking. I think, oh crap, it's Sauron disguised as Galadriel, telling them, "Oh, we need to do all these things with the rings." and he's gonna find the real Galadriel still passed out. But no, he finds the scrolls and kind of puts 2 and 2 together. Just kind of winding this down because we can go. I got like 40 minutes of no, we can't. When it's we can't do 2, we gotta do 3 because 1 corrupts.
I love that.
2 will pit us against each other. Divide. 3 will keep us in check. I forgot the line that Celebrimbor said, but 3 rings for the Elven Lords. I'm like, here we go. This is why I love this so much.
We're still missing like 17 rings.
But I love that it didn't end with the creation of the 1 ring. We saw the first 3. And when and I'll give it up to someone on Twitter that says, when Galadriel said, these rings are these powers only for the elves, and they show Elrond. Elrond is already thinking how to tell his boyfriend in the mountains how to do this. Going straight to Durin. Hey, That's
how many do the elves get?
Thank you.
How many do the dwarves make? 7?
7. And then 9 for men destined to die. And then 1 for the Dark Lord.
So, okay, Alberto, you know more about this than I do. The 1 ring comes after the first 19, right?
Yes.
So we're still a ways off before the ring.
Yeah, so I don't know, because at one point, maybe he already learned how to do them. Because he was the one
I think he did.
So I don't know if he needs to go back to, because I think he kind of tricks them into doing the 1 ring. But I think he already knows. He doesn't have the ingredients, of course. He doesn't have mithril. He doesn't have silver and gold from Numenor. So it'll be how he gets those. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this series is going for season 2. I was reading an interview yesterday with the creators that they did that this way, that season 1 was this kind of who is Sauron instead of, like you said, he's all evil. And then season 2 is going to be what people thought season 1 was going to be. It's more about this. Sauron is going to be out there more. It's going to be more present. So
okay. I'm dying to see the corruption of Sauron, like how he turns into like the Dark Lord Sauron. And dude, the Witch King, that's like my new thing. Like this season was Sauron watch. Now we're in Witch King watch.
Yeah, which it almost looked like when the stranger uses the staff to kind of obliterate the mystic. It looked like he has some crowns that look like the Witch King, but he can't be. But let's talk about the ending from those guys, from the Hardfoots, the strangers. I cried twice.
That was awesome.
Both times.
Awesome.
As a parent, saying goodbye to my children was going to be the hardest thing when they go to college, and this was it. One of my favorite movies that I watched the past year and a half is Coda. So I just love that relationship. And seeing it here, I forgot the name of Nori's father, saying, you're not. You're part of something bigger now. Go out there and be on this adventure. Just broke me. But we got confirmation. Ishtar, wise one, in your tongue it means wizard. When in doubt, follow your nose. That's all I needed.
Okay,
I'm happy. Gandalf is here.
I think they're telegraphing the Gandalf thing, but I'm thinking it might not go that way. So just hear me out, man. Just hear me out. So from the little I know, I know that Gandalf arrives later on. However, I think they can do like from a certain point of view thing. Like he goes, turns into the Blue Wizards, and then comes back, and that's his return as Gandalf. But I don't know. I think it's just like too obvious, and that's not at all like a critique. But I think it would be cool if they did something different. That's just me. Okay,
and that's fine. That's your opinion. My opinion on this little rectangle here is that you're wrong. And if it's not Gandalf, I will not watch the show anymore. I will.
And where's Saruman then?
I don't care. He's somewhere in the other side. When he goes to Rund, to the eastern, maybe he finds Saruman over there.
Okay.
And yes, Gandalf is not supposed to show for another 1,000 years or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's artistic liberties. I'm fine with them. They can't have such an iconic line from Gandalf to then, we're subverting expectations or putting the rug out from. They can't do that. I hope that they don't do it.
It may be like Gandalf's master. I don't know.
So someone tweeted maybe that is Gandalf, or again, we are 2,000 years before Lord of the Rings, maybe he goes back to the Grey Havens and returns. And he has a second return to Middle Earth, and that's the one that people know out there. But for me, I love it. And Amy isn't as similar. She said, I really love how they did the Gandalf Sauron reveals. Even though their identities turned out to be exactly the way so many of us predicted at the start, they kept us guessing till the very end. And I agree.
It's been very well played, definitely.
Yeah. And then it ends with Sauron at this point entering Mordor, seeing Mount Doom in the background.
I know that place.
There you go.
I know Mordor. And also, I have no actual opinion on this because I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings, but I do like Gandalf because he has that big pipe.
He has a big pipe.
I want that pipe.
And also, when the mystics are telling, oh, you have the stars, they call the nomad's hat or something like that, or the wanderer's hat. It's like, it's gonna be a wizard.
Yeah.
Anyway, so great show, great season, great finale. Knocked it out of the park. Can't wait for Numenor to come back. We didn't get to talk about Elendil and the Queen. The fight is still on with them. They'll come back. The king died, unfortunately.
Isildur is missing in action.
Yes. And then as we jump into House of the Dragon, the king on this episode did the same thing that Viserys said, telling the wrong person some secrets.
Yeah.
All right.
So
the House of the Dragon, just go.
Quickly. Patty, I don't know his last name. God bless you. Fucking freaking Viserys. I'm sorry, Alberto. What an episode. Marong. So I'm at a loss for words. That scene with Daemon and the crown, beautiful. Just how those arcs close out. Alicent and Rhaenyra, how those arcs close out for like a second and then open up again. Oh my god, that relationship is just so heartbreaking when you think about where they started. They were in my head, they were in love, and now they're just about to go to war with each other. Yeah. And my god, I'm a sucker for misread prophecies, and this is like the mother of misread prophecies because it was misread, misspelled, misheard. Wow. I love the episode. I think it's been the best episode so far. It was so emotional, and seeing the Targaryen kids be just such douches. And get ready for more Aemon because he is the devil.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in his eyes. I know you have to leave, Oti. I'll just say this as you're leaving. You called it one of our episodes. We talked about how
they protect each other,
and Rhaena had that relationship. There's some love there, and you said the Targaryens protect each other. That's all they are. Yeah, we had it with Daemon coming back and helping his
now.
Brother. Yes.
Bye, guys. I gotta go.
Family. Okay, Oti, thanks for joining us. See you next week. All right. If he learns how to get out, I'll get you out. All right, there you go. He's out there. Hi, Mo. How are you doing?
Good.
All right, so you're caught up with House of the Dragon?
I am.
How was this episode? You also loved it?
I did. I loved it. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm not a big Daemon and Rhaenyra shipper. It's a little weird to me, but I do love how much he protects her. Mm-hmm. And someone pointed out, like, there's like right before Laenor's brother is about to call her children bastards, there's like a quick scene where Daemon looks over at her and she's like, I'm like, you can be violent. You can do it.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either during the episode, but I saw that someone tweeted a few days. Just a quick glance. She's like, and he's like, say it. I'm like, oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. But it's weird. But at this point, that's what Game of Thrones is. So, and we know the Targaryens want to keep this kind of perfect bloodline. And then I think some of Alicent's children are married, which is even weirder. Mm-hmm. But that scene also when they get back to the kingdom, no one's waiting for them. Well, just that love that both Rhaenyra and Daemon have for Viserys, for her dad and his brother, because even though they've been at odds for so long, they still have that relationship. So I love that they got that time just to be at his bedside. Her kind of saying, that's not my dad. He doesn't look like the person I remember. It's been years since I've seen him. Unfortunately, I've been through that when my dad passed away when I went to visit him at the hospital. He didn't look like him. So I kind of, it hit hard, but it's also, man, those Targaryens, they're evil, but at the same time, they have some love for each other.
Yeah, I love that she named one of her kids Viserys.
Oh, yes.
That was nice. They also have hella kids all of a sudden.
Yeah, right? From nothing now to like 3 more.
Oh, yeah, 3. It's like, oh, wow.
They don't wait. But that scene when they're talking about trying who's going to be the heir to Driftmark and find, do you expected Viserys to be there? I didn't think he was going to make it because he's been so messed up for so long, and then he just makes the climb, basically.
Especially where we left off with him. Like, he was in bed, they were talking, and then, like, he's just, like, all of a sudden in so much pain.
Yeah.
And then, like, can't even really understand what Rhaenyra's saying to him. Like, she's trying to talk to him, and, like, the pain is just so overwhelming for him. So that was a big shocker for me. I didn't think he was going to come through, but that was a powerful scene.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And it was beautiful when you see Daemon come to his aid, because we don't see it. We just see a hand go down. He's like, I tell you, I don't need the help. It's your brother that you've kicked out of the kingdom. You've banished like 5 times already. But the most powerful one, of course, is Daemon putting the crown back on him. The crown that he wants so much that they fought over. It's like, you're still the king. Let him know who's in charge here. So I just love all that. And then, of course, it goes to beheading someone later.
Keep his tongue. I was like, oh.
Yeah. But I also love, and we go to that dinner scene, Viserys kind of realizing that my family's together. I'm not going to be here much longer.
Yeah.
Do it for me, kind of. Let's put all these, not petty differences, they're big differences, but let's all put them aside. Do it for me.
Yeah.
Like Otti said, for that split second, it seems like things might work out.
It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. It started with the kids teasing each other. Aemon kind of gets in the middle, and then Daemon kind of, do it really? Did you see me just kill someone before the main course?
He just had to do it.
Yeah.
Strong kids. Oh, God.
Man, I hate those kids. I don't know why.
So misbehaved.
Do you know where the story goes? Have you read those books, or are you just going along for the ride?
I'm just here for the ride.
All right, same. I haven't read anything. I never read the Game of Thrones books. I was late getting into it. I think I started like in season 5.
Same.
So here I know nothing. So I'm enjoying it as it comes. But so far, very good. And I'll say, for people that say that, Andor is kind of slow, it's a slow burn, don't watch House of the Dragon. Because every episode, it takes like 45 minutes to, okay, here we are.
Yeah. I really liked that they gave us a moment with Alicent and Rhaenyra. Because I'm on Odie's team. They were in love. I ship them. I don't care. It's messy. Whatever.
And I thought, before the season started, I thought that was the way it was going to go, just because some of the interviews, some of the images we were seeing, and I thought that was the way. But as soon as she was pushed by her dad to kind of go visit,
because like neither of them had a lot of agency. Like it's all just a political game. Like they just have to play their roles.
And it's just taken them so long to kind of fall into those kind of roles, because they don't want to be there. But after, I don't know, 16 years, we're screwed. This is our future now with our kids. And even Alicent keeps telling her kids, you can't act like this. You're going to be king, or you're going to do this. You got to... So yeah, I can't. I hate those kids, and I hate that Otti says there's going to be more of them. So we'll see. But like we mentioned before, as we're finishing the Rings of Power talk, Viserys in his kind of delusions at the end of his life, thinking he's talking to Rhaenyra, telling Alicent that Aemon is the key, the prince that was promised. I'm like, dude, just die. I don't want you to die, but don't say anything else.
So who do you think he's talking about there? He said Aegon, right?
Aegon, yes. I think he's just thinking about, I don't know if the prophecy actually says Aegon, and he's thinking that maybe one of Rhaenyra's grandkids is going to be called Aegon or whatever. But of course, Alicent's, it's my son she's talking about.
Because, I mean, if it's a prophecy that's been around for a while, it could be like, oh my God, the main guy from Game of Thrones.
Jon Snow?
Yeah, Jon Snow, because he is Aegon Targaryen.
Yeah, and I think that's it. By Game of Thrones, when the prophecy, whatever, I think it's him that they're talking about. But at this point, like 150 years before, it's like, oh no, it's my kid because he loves me. He says, "I love you." No, he's talking to his dead wife at the end when he's
it doesn't help. It doesn't help that everyone is naming their child Aegon.
Yeah, that's one thing. Daemon, Aemon, Aegon. It's like, too bad. Just give me a call. I kind of give me that's a myth or something.
For real.
All right, but yeah, great season so far. I think we have 2 more episodes. I think it's 9 episodes or 10,
really?
10 episodes. I think there's 2 more left.
Okay.
2 or 3. I forget.
Is it going to be multiple seasons?
I want to say that I just heard from George R. Martin that they have an idea that for this show to make sense all the way, it's 4 seasons of 10 episodes.
Okay.
So hopefully that's it, and they already have this story all planned out. Yeah. And we don't end up with what happened in Game of Thrones, which I didn't mind it, but I know a lot of people did. All right, so finishing up, She-Hulk, another show that came to an end this week. Have you been watching She-Hulk? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, and I watched the finale a few days ago.
Okay, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the show. I like the lightheartedness of it.
Yeah.
I like that, like, because I do enjoy the MCU, but I don't read the comics. Like, I'm not a diehard fan. So I like that in this show, like, you don't have to really know anything about the MCU.
Oh,
you
of course.
Just watch it.
Yeah, and even though I've read comics in the 90s, I don't remember reading a lot of She-Hulk comics, so I'm not caught up with it. So whatever they give me, what they give me. And I mentioned before, the first couple of episodes, I wasn't too much into it. The last 4 or 5, when, okay, this is just a 30 minutes lighthearted comedy, I was all into it. And all the superhero stuff in the background, I didn't mind too much. I didn't care for it too much. Just give me all the fun stuff in between. So although I did enjoy the finale, I'm not going to say it was my favorite episode of the season. I think it went too meta at the end, with jumping into the Disney Plus screens and doing all this other stuff. Like, you're losing me. I didn't mind.
It was very meta, but I think the story that they were setting up, I didn't like that.
No, me neither. So I agree when she goes talk to Kevin. And she says, why is he stealing my blood? Why is Bruce here? Why is Abomination? I 100% agree because they lost me. And when Bruce showed up and started fighting with Abomination, I was like, what the hell is going on?
Tatiana came out, I was like, she hates her. Why is she?
Yeah. So I didn't like where it was going. But I think it went too far into correcting it because when she's telling Kevin, all those things that were wrong, when she comes back, everything already had been resolved. It's like, whatever Ted or whatever his name is already arrested. Blonsky is going back to jail, and Bruce is not there. And then Matt Murdock just falls from nowhere.
Just pops up.
So it's like, really? But I love that Matt Murdock was back because they have great chemistry. It's 100% sure that she's gonna show up in the Daredevil series. So again, I wasn't super fan of the finale, but all in all, I really enjoyed the series just because, like you said, let's just have fun for 30 minutes. We don't need to connect all the dots with the MCU.
Yeah, it was a cool finale. It was. I definitely didn't see any of that happening.
Oh no!
I did like the Kevin thing. I thought that was funny.
That part was great, and I didn't mind. I just everything else before she got to that point, like you're losing me. It's taking too long. But whatever. From what I seen on social media, a lot of people love this ending. So I guess they knew what they were doing. All right, Mo. I think that kind of brings an end to our chat today for Oti that had to leave a little bit early to go listen to some John Williams music with the Puerto Rico Symphony. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everyone in the chat. That's always been great. Mo, always a pleasure having you on. I think this is the first official time you're being on the podcast because you've been here before for the trivia, for the Rogue One Watch Along, but first time officially here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Always a blast. I love the show.
Yeah. All right, just finish up with our friend Juan Mereles is saying, I love that they made a finale that fits Jen's character arc rather than just forcing a giant CGI battle. First super fitting for me, and I agree on that end.
Yeah.
All right, so for Juan, Roberto, Dale, Amy, Andrew, I don't know who else was here, everyone that joined us today, thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like this video. If you come back to watch the ending. Mo, again, thanks for being here. Where can people find you? I guess right there where it says, right next to it.
Yeah, I'm going to do an Odie. You can find me at whatever it says right there.
Whatever is there, plus it's on the description of the video. And for myself, thanks for joining us at Radio Rebel Pod on Twitter and Instagram. and on our website, Radio Rebellion Podcast, Radio Rebellion a Star Wars podcast.wordpress.com. I'll have my review of That's Too Loud of A Path of Deceit there at some point soon this week. And then we'll do another chat here. We'll be back next week with Buck. Our friend Buck O'Brien will be here.
Yeah.
So guys, thanks for joining us. Stay safe. Be safe. May the Force be with you.